A hypothetical election prediction between the Democratic pretend nominee, in this case Pete Buttigieg, versus the Republican pretend nominee, that being J.D. Vance. We'll get started with the state of Nevada and then move eastward. So starting out in Nevada, I'm going to put that state into the lean blue column. I think the state will be a pretty easy one for Democrats to win back. I also think Pete Buttigieg would be a pretty strong candidate when it comes to the national electorate. He has done well. He most likely would do well in swing states. He appeals to moderates of both parties fairly well. He's actually gone on Fox News on a couple of occasions to try to appeal to a bigger electorate, and he just seems like a very genuine kind of character. I do think J.D. Vance, it will be interesting to see what a Republican other than Trump ends up doing on the presidential level, how they perform in the national electorate. Just for so long, since 2016, Trump has been the Republican Party's nominee for the presidency. So the electorate has, and since then, the electorate has really shaped around him in quite a few ways. Some states that used to be reliably blue, like Michigan and Pennsylvania, have shifted into the competitive toss-up range. States like Florida have gone from being really a swing state into virtually a lock for the Republican Party. Some states have become bluer, however. Georgia and Arizona are two big examples of that used to be fairly reliably Republican states, but are now in the toss-up column and even go blue a good chunk of the time. But back to the state of Nevada, going to put that in the lean blue column. When we get to Arizona, going to put that in the tilt blue. I think Pete Buttigieg will still be able to win this state. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, he does well with moderates, and I think that would be crucial to winning really throughout the swing states, but especially in Arizona. Then we're going to get to the toss-up district in the Omaha area of Nebraska. This district even went blue in 2024, and that was not a good year for Democrats on the national electorate, or really any electorate. But I do think that Pete Buttigieg would be able to win this district by a lean blue margin. Moving on now and to the state of Georgia. I'm going to do a split call between Georgia and North Carolina. That being, I do think Republicans and J.D. Vance have a better chance in the state of North Carolina than he does in Georgia. Georgia went blue in 2020, has 2 Democratic senators. It's looking like North Carolina will elect 1 Democratic senator coming this midterm, but once we see the election results from 2026 midterms in all of the crucial swing states, as well as just the electorate at large, that'll give us a better idea of which way these swing states, including North Carolina and Georgia, could be potentially leaning come 2028. So that will bring Pete Buttigieg to 259, to J.D. Vance's 235. And then we really just have the 3 Rust Belt states remaining. Pete Buttigieg's home state, I'm going to call that one for him, that being Michigan. That's going to, the state he currently lives in, that's going to bring him to 274. And then that is going to be the presidency, but I do think the news would get better for Buttigieg. I think Wisconsin, I probably feel the most confident about Michigan going blue for Buttigieg, then Wisconsin. And I think Pennsylvania will probably be the most competitive toss-up seat in this election. I think it will be close, but for now I do think if Pete Buttigieg is winning the other 2 Rust Belt states, generally they vote together. It's been that way for a while. So I think the state of Pennsylvania will call for Pete Buttigieg. That is going to result in a final tally of 303 for the Democrat Pete Buttigieg to 235 for the Republican J.D. Vance. This isn't too surprising. Right now we can see the prediction markets have Democrats at a little under 60% chance of winning the presidency. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I do think Buttigieg would be a fairly strong nominee. And so that is reflected in my little prediction here. And yeah, always appreciate when you guys like and subscribe. Thanks. Hope you have a great day.